Adam Wasser from New York City. Recently, 3 young Jewish men were hitchhiking in the West Bank, Yehuda and Samaria, in Israel. Unfortunately, the people who picked them up on the road were not what they thought they were. They were terrorists. They were people who wanted to kidnap them and hurt them. These people were probably dressed as religious Jews in disguise, but really Palestinians. Right now, these 3 young men in their early 20s are being held somewhere in the West Bank. The Israeli government doesn't know where they are, but the Israeli government is searching for them. Hundreds of Palestinians have been arrested, and the search continues. The entire Jewish world is united, whether they are secular, religious, or somewhere in between, in finding these boys and coming united as one people to find them in solidarity. Massive rallies at the Kotel and in other places like New York and Brazil have been put together to pray and their support for these young men. Even the Knesset had a prayer vigil last week to hold their support for these young men, whether they were secular, religious, or not believing in anything. They came together to pray for these young Jewish men. Unfortunately, this incident is not unusual. Constantly, Israel has to deal with kidnapping by Jewish people being kidnapped by Palestinians, whether it's in the Gaza Strip or in the West Bank. And many times, these boys that are kidnapped are killed, and then we end up releasing hundreds of Palestinians for their bodies back. Sometimes we're lucky. Sometimes they don't kill them, and we've still got to give up hundreds of Palestinian prisoners to get them back alive. But it's not always a guarantee. The truth of the matter is, Palestinians work dirty. They want their own independent nation. They want the West Bank and Gaza and the entirety of Israel proper to be Palestine. They want this land, and they are willing to do anything it takes to get this land. Whether it's killing children, women, families, whatever it is, they'll do anything to get their way. We have offered them the entirety of the West Bank. Even though we will hold on to 9% of the West Bank, we would give them a swap of some land near the south of the West Bank, and in overall they would get everything. And yet that's not enough. It's not enough because they want everything. But even if they have everything, will they really be satisfied, or will they continue to drive the Jews into the sea? The truth of the matter is, it's not so much that the Palestinians want a homeland, it's that they want the Jews out of the region, and they want to control this region. How do they want to control it? They want to control it into an Islamic state that is pro-Islam and anti-everything else. Israel is a beacon, not only to the West, but to the Islamic world, because it shows that there is a compromise of religion and secularism and modernization in the Middle East, because Israel is a secular nation, but it respects religion. Islam is not a dirty religion. I respect Islam. I love Islam. I think it's beautiful. But many people take it and turn it into something dirty and nasty and ugly. These Palestinians will not rest until every Jew is thrown out of the region. It's not about the settlers. It's not about, having a Palestinian nation with Jews living in it. It is about getting the Jews out of the region. Israel, whether you accept it or not, the Jewish people believe is their homeland, is their motherland. We have a history that goes back 4,000 years in Israel. And even if we were to leave for the Palestinians, that would mean that there would be not 23 Arab nations, but 24 Arab nations, and no Jewish nation. There is one Jewish nation. It's called Israel. There are 23 Arab nations. Is it not fair that the cousins of the Arabs, the Jewish people, because we are cousins, cannot have a little piece of land? A little piece of land that is 27 you know, kilometers, it's not fair that we can't have our own land. You know, compromise can be made, but the compromise has already been made. The compromise is that we have a small swath of the Mediterranean in the Middle East, and they have 23 nations that stretches from Morocco all the way to Iraq, south to Yemen, north to Turkey. We, the Jewish people, do not kidnap people, we do not terrorize people, we do not kill women and children. We defend ourselves in the best way we can against those that wish to annihilate us. These are the people, the Palestinians, who supported the Holocaust, who say that the best thing Hitler ever did was to kill the Jews, and he should never stop killing the Jews, that he should have totally annihilated all the Jews. You know, the Jews are not like that, and nobody can say we're like that. And yet, we are the victims of countless persecution by the UN, by the European Union, and by America, that say that we are wrong, that we have to give them land, that we have to let the prisoners go, and that we have to accept that these 3 men who have been kidnapped is a part of a resistance movement to have a homeland of their own. The Palestinians have been offered many times a homeland of their own, and they have denied it. Even in '48, they were given a partition plan. Half of Palestine was Jewish, half of Palestine was Arab, and they said no. They said they will not accept that. And we went to war. 5 Arab armies attacked the Jewish people, and we defeated them. And they took the West Bank, they took Gaza, they took the Golan Heights. And that wasn't enough. They continued to attack us. And they lost again. We hold on, the Jewish people hold on to the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and the Golan Heights, and East Jerusalem, because the Arabs have never been satisfied, and they continue to attack us, and we have to defend ourselves. In many ways, the big way of defending oneself is to take more territory as a buffer to defend oneself against the enemy. God bless the 3 Jewish men who are held captive right now by the Palestinians. May they have a speedy return and their families strong and vigilant in this dilemma, horrible experience that we're all facing right now. And thank God that the Jewish people are united. Unfortunately, it takes a tragedy like this to bring the Jewish people together, but there's always a blessing to be found when there is a tragedy, if we look for it and work towards it. A negative can always be a positive if we fight for it. And God willing, this negative that is a positive in uniting the Jewish people will ultimately turn into a greater positive with the return of our brothers. Amen, and God bless. Mashiach now.